Welcome, welcome. Out at sea I have been, no boat to secure me, only a wooden door do I sit upon. At times the sea is calm and serene, but not today. No, not today. The sea summons the wind. I can hear her from a distance begin to howl as I cling to my raft, this door of plain wood. Her raw fingers grab hold of this calm, serene sea, shaking the sea with her fierce, uncompromising power. The waves now thrashing, smashing against my raft, dancing this furious dance with her wild, chaotic wind. Whoever said God can't be fierce lied to me. Whoever said God can't be fierce lied to me. So welcome, my friends. I was spontaneously following to do this just before Christmas, and we're all on such a journey. So nothing's prepared, so hopefully the Spirit will, lead and guide this as best as I can share. Again, it's all about the Sundance journey, which I am still journeying on. It's very much a physical journey, as you know. I have been going through this, I say 5 years, but it'll be 6 now at the end of this month. So this 6-year journey with the body, with hernias, with strangulated hernias, with bowel obstruction, with scar tissue, with, and in this journey, if I may, goes all the way back, of course, before and into my mother's womb when I was 6 months term and her appendix ruptured. So I died in that moment. And that was the shift on my life. So that is the thread to where I am today still. But I want to say this. My husband and I, John, have been, diligently calling on doctors or MLA or whatever it is we need to take care of what was took place in surgery. So we have a doctor who confirmed that, and also told that nobody wants to look at that. Also, there are so many nerves in our guts that truly the doctor said we can't target it. Probably not. I don't know what it takes, because it's all neurons and nerves and fascinating world. Anyways, my friends, so I've been sharing this journey, which of course takes me deep into inner realms. This is always my journey, but even more so now because I'm entering what Sri Aurobindo and the Mother Lame, and to confess, I haven't really studied them at all much, except a friend sent me some email many years ago on this whole yoga of the cells. But that takes me to the deep, dark layers I've been entering within this flesh, this body, And so I've been tracking and wanted to connect the dots with all of you today for some really important sacred feedback, okay? So I want to go back now, and I mean the journey's kind of loose, and I can't fill in all the blanks. There's too much to tell, as is all our journeys, but we follow one another, carry one another in spirit. So I want to go back to, about 30 years ago, and actually this poem I wrote way back then, and it kind of popped out again this last week and went, okay, I'll share that with you. Sometimes the waters are rough. About 30 years ago, John and I, really having some, troubles. I mean, we had our own stuff we brought in, of course, and so it was a rough time, and he was involved with men's groups, brothers, so it was good, and I was involved with women's groups, Miriam Center, and worked there and stuff. So, and I had seen this woman, and she says, just let it be, let him do what. So he was sleeping down, I was sleeping up, but it was deep, excruciating work. Really a letting go of mothering of men. I don't know about you women, but a lot of us, or I certainly did, had to heal the shadow of that. So we were on opposite teams, and this one night, this Saturday night, it took me deep down into what I call a death wish, and I was just wailing right at the bottom of this mess that I was just broken, undone, didn't know what to do, where to turn. The phone rang, and back in the day when you have, I guess we have display now too, but anyways, there it was, and it was a woman from that Miriam Center, and I picked up just wailing, and eventually she just led me and said, turn to Mother Mary. Hung up the phone in that grief, calling out to her, who has been with me, ever since I've come to this planet. So there, all of a sudden, in that deep place, is just so full of dark and letting go, and she reached down, and I remember being picked up by this mother of grace, Mother Mary, and I stood up, and she handed me a single grace, and I took that grace inside my body, and it's very difficult to say in words what that did, but all of my cells became ablaze with the awakened awareness of how that just to be female is, I am holy. Just to be a woman is sacred. Everything of this flesh, every cell burning with this knowledge that to be woman, to this flesh is sacred and holy. As I say, that kind of grace is just so incredibly powerful and humbling at the same time. Needless to say, I slept. The next morning, I was involved back in the day with St. Ignatius Church, and I was a Eucharistic minister. So I was getting ready because that morning I was one of the ministers. And I came downstairs and honestly, my friends, I felt like I was just like, the light in me was just pouring, and I remember kind of looking in the mirror and go, oh, Mother, what have you done? And I come downstairs, and John, and it's kind of, and he saw me, and I know he saw this. It was undeniable. I mean, she had, just gracious Mother. And he looked at me and says, oh, where are you going? And I said, I'm going to Mass. I'm a Eucharistic minister today, and I left. I thought I would never experience that kind of grace as a female, as a woman, as again in my life. It was just so beyond. So connect the dots, and you'll get to where I'm sharing all of this why. I guess must have been about 2 years ago. Now, in my journey, it's been a lot of deep inner work, a lot of grace, a lot of precious grace in my life, richness and blessings. Working a lot, facing patriarchy many years ago, raised in the Roman Catholic Church. I really am connected to the mystical side of that tradition through my father. But of course, there was all this stuff, eh? And so really, facing that within. And my marriage of almost 40 years, I suppose. I'm not going to share my marriage. There's just too much to tell, right? A journey with someone that long. But all to say that 2 years ago, as I went to see one of the sisters I go see, and at the end of the session, I'm walking out, and there was some stuff with my husband, and she said, well, many women or people, I guess many couples are living in a patriarchy marriage, and it really just whoosh struck me. No, I know that. I mean, we've done incredible. Anyway, all I can say is it took me, and I let it take me. And there was a journey there with John and I for a few months that was there was burning down going on. And so what took place for me once I surrendered to what's going on here, I entered a space within myself. And I remember feeling my soul. My soul is Ivory, and I could feel her fire, and she was burning down the patriarchy in me, the disdain of the body, disdain of the feminine, all of this burning down in me. And all of a sudden, in that moment, my body was conscious, all I can say. I didn't think this, it just, the knowing, every cell again was awakened, every part of this flesh knew she could heal herself. And I saw this big fat lie, the big fat lie of depending on others, on doctors, on this and that. And hey, I'm not saying I am all for all of this, hey, all inclusive. Yet I also know about our dependencies and shadows and all of that stuff. So we're talking that stuff. Anyways, I saw that we were made to function in health, as Carolyn Miss says. These bodies were designed for health. So all of this woke up. That grace from Mother Mary, well, this body woke up. And I went, I can heal myself. Now, that's 2 years ago. I've gone through much. The body is still on the Sundance. I've needed so many prayers. And this is where I'm going. So I've had so many beautiful responses and emails from many of you. I could single you out. Maybe it's not fair, but each of you so precious and dear, and thank you. One of them is from my dear sister and friend Bev, who sent me an email, something to do with, you have the key. And so I was tracking and going, okay, this is the Spirit speaking. I want to say, about 20 years ago, I had a dream. I was giving a ceremony, and I had a key like this, skeleton key. And I was taking it to my heart and blessing it, praying. Gist of the ceremony is I passed the key around, and everybody spoke about, what do we need to open? And what happened was my nephew, my godchild, he had found a skeleton key outside my home when he was about 3-4 years old. And his mother said, Auntie had a dream. So this is from him. But when dear Bev said, you have the key, I put that in that logging of tracking the Spirit and going, okay, here's where I'm at, my friends. For me, everything comes in threes. That's what my mother taught me. That's the way it is. Mother Mary's grace, the body is sacred and holy. The body awakening to its own consciousness, what La Mère called the yoga of the cells, eh? And then the key. And started to unlock and remember all kinds of times in my life. I had a healing center in Winnipeg, beautiful house of healing, we call it greenhouse. And in each room, we had created to what we were doing. And in one of the rooms, it was called Walking Barefoot. And I had written on the wall, when the body's unmuffled, she sings. When the body's unmuffled, she sings. So I had already, because I've always been in my body, even at the 6-month term, I think that was the trigger, better get in here fast, eh? But my mother grounded to her, her roots too. So always grounded in my body. And so that journey of spirit took me when the body's unmuffled, she sings. And I remember just standing there experiencing all of my cells singing with the very song of God. Now, of course, my friends, the last 5-6 years have not been so. Very much suffering, very well, the mystery of the flesh, eh? But the emails and dear ones giving me grace and sessions, and thank you so very much. I realize, my friends, if I'm here to receive a divine physical healing, because that's all that keeps coming to me. You see, I've tried all the ways, all the medical ways, all the this and the that, and I'll continue, and if it opens, it's great. But in the meantime, I have so many connections and so much to do with the spirit. And so another dream just came, and another email, and the other piece that dear one had put with the key is, she said, you are walking the shaman way. So months ago, a friend of mine came to the door, and she had come in and talked about how she had healed herself. Very long journey for her as well. And I remember she looked in my eyes, looked deep into my soul, and she said, Ivory, you are a shaman. I believe you can heal yourself. And it just struck my, especially the place connected to my ancestors. And so I recalled, Jesus as shaman, my ancestors too. And so I'm asking you this. Will you pray and continue to help me find this divine healing? So far, it's been a journey that I think I have to walk with whatever it is that's happening here, going deeper into the layers. But I need help to, I believe I really need help from all of you to come into this, because the flesh is vulnerable. The flesh is vulnerable. So I think I've gone on, and I've been all over the place, so forgive me. It's a spontaneous one, and anyway, my friends, tell me what you think. Yes, we can have that in our lives? Of course, can we not? It's called a miracle. Anyways, blessings to all of my friends here, and sisters. Thank you, Krista, Belle, Julia, Bonnie, Sherry, Eileen, Sherry, Jack, and John. Thank you to all of you, Giselle, Phil, and Trish. So we'll share more in the future, eh? Slow it down as we enter out of that rich dark we're in. Many blessings for if you celebrate Christmas, yes. Enjoy, and let's connect again and share when we can. Pray for you too. Chant night and day that beautiful Buddha medicine that Bev sent to me. So for all of us and myself, my belly.